every once in a while, a confession comes along that forces us to pause, to listen, and to think in ways we might not have before. Today, I want to unpack something powerful, something raw, and honestly, something that might make a lot of people uncomfortable. We are diving into a conversation about how some white women actually, fear black women, not physically, not mentally, but emotionally.
So this lady asks, this black lady, are white women really that scared of black women? And I'm going to say yes. And this is my opinion as a white woman who is 53 years old and has lived in the South in Georgia my entire life. But it's not being scared, but it's a fear. And it's not a physical fear. It is the mental fear. It is what we see in you and what we see you doing and how it challenges us and the fear of that. So we see black women and we see how strong you are. We see you coming together as a community. We see you supporting each other. We see you supporting your community, supporting your families, supporting your children, going out and fighting for your rights, being authentic in your race and in your femininity. Anyway. And we're jealous. I think we're jealous because we would love to be that, I think, and we don't know how to break out of the indoctrination that we have been suppressed by our entire lives. And I'm not giving white women a pass, don't get me wrong, but I know I and most women white women have been told our entire lives, be quiet, know your place, be a good girl, don't rock the boat, don't be too much. And when you are any of those things, you are ostracized because you have rocked their boat. And that is what black women are. You rock our boat, our mental boat, because you challenge us to look at how we are deficient and not living in our truth, and it makes us uncomfortable. And people don't like to be uncomfortable, and it makes us start to question ourselves, and people don't like to question themselves. We would rather live in our little bubble of white supremacy and what we know and comfortableness. I know that's not a word. Than a lot of people would, white women would, rather than challenge themselves to grow and know more, because it's easy. Doing the work is hard. It's really hard. I've been doing the work the past several years, and it's hard. It is hard admitting some truths about yourself and some truths about yourself as a white woman. So yeah, I think that white women are scared of black women because you challenge us in that way, and a lot of us don't like it. And that's why we fear you. It's because we fear what you make us face.
Now, this was very interesting to me. I had to play this a couple times to make sure that I was hearing what I was hearing. I had to play this a couple times to make sure that this is what I was hearing. So, is this woman saying the same thing that we complain about black women? The same characteristics that black women have that we complain about? Is this white woman saying that's what white women are jealous over? Don't we talk bad about the strong black woman? I was always told that the reason that black men leave black women is because white women had these certain characteristics that black men like. But this woman is saying that she actually doesn't like that dynamic. The dynamic how they would like to be is how black women behave. Now, this is very, very telling, and this is very, very interesting. So, we put down what we think is not good, right? But other groups of women, we always talk about other groups, right? Okay, so let's keep talking about other groups. So, the white woman is looking at the black woman saying, I like your femininity. I want to be strong like you. I want independence. I want to be able to carve out my own lane. interesting. You know what? That's super duper funny. All this in-house fighting that we do, and other people are actually looking at the things we hate about ourselves, and they actually admire it and also want to adopt it. Meanwhile, we're talking bad about each other. It's so interesting.
He spoke a word on that one, didn't he? What more can I say?
Now, I know the word fear usually comes with heavy baggage. It makes you think of, danger, violence, or hostility. But in this case, the fear that's being confessed is not about safety. It's about what Black women represent in the minds of many white women. This comes directly from a white woman's own, admission. She says plainly that white women often feel, an inner fear of Black women because Black women reflect something that white women feel they lack. They see strength, they see community, they see authenticity, they see a boldness and a freedom that challenges the quiet, controlled, and often suppressed roles white women were trained to live within. Think about it for a minute. For generations, white women in Western society have been told to be quiet, know your place, be a good girl, don't rock the boat, don't be too much. That's not just advice, that's conditioning. That's indoctrination, a system built to keep them comfortable, silent, and compliant with a structure that favors them only when they play the roles. And when they encounter Black women who push against society's limits, who embrace authenticity, who fight openly for rights, who speak loudly when the world wants them silent. What happens? That conditioning cracks. That bubble of comfort bursts, and suddenly a mirror is held up that forces white women to face a painful question. Why am I not living in my truth? Why am I not living in my truth? Why am I playing small? That is the mental fear. Not that Black women are dangerous to them, but Black women reveal a truth they've been avoiding, that their so-called safe life is actually a cage. But here's where it gets even deeper. The same traits white women are secretly jealous of, strength and independence, resilience, authenticity, are often the very things that society criticizes Black women for. Black women are called too loud, too strong, too independent. Yet here we are, with a white woman admitting we are jealous. We want that. We don't know how to break out of indoctrination, but we wish we could. This is why today's conversation matters, because it forces us to deal with, contradictions, with truths that leaves the shadows, with the gap between what society says and what people secretly admire. So, as we break this down, guys, I want you to, keep one thing in mind. Fear is not always about danger. Sometimes fear is about facing truths would, rather ignore. Stick with me, guys, because we are going to unpack not just what was said, but what it really it means for white women, for Black women, and for the culture we are living in. Now, let's pause for a second and think about what this confession really shows us. This white woman is basically saying, I've been conditioned to shrink, conditioned to be quiet, conditioned to take up space, conditioned to live in comfort instead of truth. And when I see Black women breaking those chains, living boldly, building community, being, unapologetically themselves, it terrifies me because it exposes own chains. That's powerful because it flips the idea of fear on its head. Normally, when people say they fear something, it's because they think that person might take something from them. But here, the fear is that Black women might actually reveal something to them, the truth about their own limitations. And let's not miss the irony here. Within the Black community itself, some of the very traits being admired are the same, traits that often cause conflict. Black women are sometimes criticized, even by Black men, for being too strong, too independent, or not too submissive enough. Yet, here is a white woman saying, no, those traits are exactly what we envy. Those traits are exactly what we wish we had permission to embrace. That should make us stop and think, because it shows how narratives about black women are twisted. What society calls too much in a black woman is secretly what's admired by others who feel trapped in their own systems of suppression. Now, let's talk about the inner conflict this creates for white women. On one hand, they've been told their whole lives to keep quiet, to stay within their lines, to play safe. On the other hand, they are watching black women break those very rules and still thrive, even when society pushes back hard against them. That creates a deep kind of jealousy mixed with admiration, mixed with discomfort. It's like watching someone do what you wish you could while knowing you don't have the courage or the permission to do it yourself. That's not easy to live with. And then there's the bigger picture. This white woman admits that many white women prefer to stay in their bubble of comfort and supremacy instead of doing the hard work of, breaking free. Because let's be honest, doing the work is hard. It means admitting truths you don't want to face. It means challenging a system that has always benefited you. It means questioning not just your life, but the structure of your entire world. So what do many of them do instead? They stay comfortable. They avoid the mirror. They fear the ones who hold it. And that's why black women become, such a trigger, not because of what they do to white women, but because of what they force white women to face within themselves. Let that sink in, guys, for a moment. The fear is not about black women being dangerous. The fear is about black women being undeniable. Now, when you combine that with the second perspective, the male commentator who reacts to this, confession, you see the full picture. He basically says, wait a minute, the very things we in that black community argue about or criticize in our own women, those are the things other people envy. Those are the things they secretly wish they had. That irony is striking because it shows us how perception works. It shows us how sometimes we don't value what's ours until we hear others admit they wish they had it. And honestly, that's a lesson for all of us. Here's where this conversation really hits home, guys. When you strip it all down, what we are really looking at is a battle between conditioning and authenticity. White women have been conditioned to suppress their voices, conditioned to seek comfort over truth, conditioned to believe their worth is tied to being quiet, submissive, and agreeable. That's their mental box. Black women, on the other hand, have been forced by history, by struggle, by survival to develop authenticity, strength, resilience, and independence. These weren't optional traits. They were necessary for survival in societies that rarely protected them. And now, in today's cultural moment, those traits shine as qualities of power, leadership, and identity. So when a white woman admits that she fears black women not because of danger, but because of the truths they reveal, what she's really saying is, your authenticity shows me my own lack of authenticity. Your strength exposes my weakness. Your independence reveals my dependence on a system that controls me. And that makes me deeply uncomfortable. That's not just fear, that's awakening. But awakening is painful. Awakening forces you to look in the mirror and see the parts of yourself you'd rather keep hidden. Awakening demands that you stop blaming others and start questioning yourself. And that is where many white women stop, because facing that truth means doing the hard work. And as the white woman in the confession said, doing the work is hard. I've been doing it for years and it's uncomfortable. Now, let's flip this lens for a second and look at black women. How often do black women get criticized for being too strong, for rocking boot, for not knowing their place? How often do those criticisms come not just from outside the community, but from inside? Yet, here we are listening to someone on the outside admit those are exactly qualities we admire. Those are exactly things we wish we had. Now, that should shift something in the way we view black womanhood, because it proves that what society tries to label as negative is actually powerful. What society tries to dismiss as too much is actually just enough. What society tries to shame is actually what others secretly envy. And isn't that the story of black women in so many ways? To be criticized publicly while being copied privately, to be told you are too much while others secretly wish they had your courage, your resilience, your authenticity. It's almost poetic. The same culture that often puts down black women is the same culture that steals their slang, their style, their fashion, their music, their rhythms, their beauty standards, while, rarely giving credit. And now we see that even personality traits, strength and independence, authenticity are part of what's quietly envied. So what does this all mean moving forward? First, it's a call for honesty. White women need to stop hiding behind comfort and start acknowledging, the ways they've, been conditioned. That's the first step toward real growth, because until you admit your chains, you'll never break free from them. Second, it's a call for, appreciation. Within the black community, it's time to recognize that the very traits being criticized are the same traits others admire. Black women don't need to shrink or apologize for their strength, their, independence, their authenticity. They need to own it even more, because those traits aren't just survival tools. They are power. They are influence. They are leadership. And finally, it's a call for, perspective. To realize that fear is not always about danger. It's sometimes about the mirror. Sometimes the people we fear the most are the people who reveal truths we are not ready to face. So to my black sisters out there, keep rocking the boat. Keep speaking loud. Keep living your truth. Because even when society criticizes you, even when others feel uncomfortable, know this: your authenticity is not just inspiring your own community, it's shaking the very systems that trained others to stay silent. And to my white sisters who might be listening, take this confession seriously. Ask yourself, who exactly are you afraid of? Is it her, or is it the truth she's reflecting back to you about yourself? Because at the end of the day, fear is not the enemy. Fear is the signal. Fear is pointing you to the place you need to, grow. And if you're brave enough to, face it, you might just find that the qualities you envy in black women are exactly qualities you need to unlock in yourself. This right here is what makes this confession so powerful. It's not just a white woman admitting fear. It's white woman confessing longing for freedom, longing for authenticity, longing for strength, longing for the very things she sees in black women every single day. And maybe, just maybe, that longing will be the spark for change. Because when fear turns into admiration, and when admiration turns into growth, that's when, transformation begins. So let's not waste this moment. Let's reflect. Let's be honest, and let's keep the conversation going on the comment section. Also remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, bye-bye.